Hey class, my name is Kelsey, and we are in week 5, which is updating data. So this week, one of the functions we learned that I found to be useful for myself is the ability to change a field to null. So the null value basically just means that no data or number exists for that field, and we can change the data so that an existing field, such as distance on a trip or what have you, is empty. And so let's take a look at an example of changing a value in our table to null. For this, I'm going to use the colonial database, so I'm going to indicate that at the top. We'll start with a simple query just to view what our table rows are for this example. So I'm going to select star from the trip table and execute that. So these are all of our fields down here. Got trip ID, name, location, etc. So this gives us a full list of our trip info. And let's say our ask is to change our Black Pond hiking trip to have no limit on group size. So we've just heard from our bosses, hey, Black Pond, no max group size, so we're going to change that field to a null value. So we just have to update this select from statement to be update, just typing update trip. And we're going to set our max group size equal to null. And if you watched Professor Beck's lecture notes on this for the sample practice problems, you'll know that he noted that we should not make the mistake of putting apostrophes around our null values. Make sure those are not there, otherwise it will actually set the letters word null instead of an empty null cell that we want. And then we're going to find our trip, so specify the trip name that is equal to Black Pond. He also noted we don't want to make the mistake of shortening this to this, being lazy. The reason is if we have other trips with that word or later trips in the future, we want to make sure that we are as specific as possible when we need to be. So we got update set to null where the trip name is Black Pond. I'm going to execute that. Perfect, one row affected. And then to check that, we can just do a basic select from trip again and execute that statement. And we'll come down here, let's find Black Pond. And now it is a null value.